It all started with a single text. Liam was scrolling through his phone in the dim glow of his apartment when the message appeared. Don't look at the clock at midnight. No sender, no context. Just that line, stark and urgent. He laughed nervously, brushing it off as some prank. Midnight was hours away anyway, but that night curiosity gnawed at him. He kept checking the clock, even though he promised himself he wouldn't. And when the hands finally struck 12, something shifted. The room went quiet. Too quiet. Even the hum of the refrigerator had stopped. Liam's phone flickered, then died. In the darkness, he felt it. The sense that he was no longer alone. A whisper brushed past his ear. You shouldn't have looked. Heart hammering, he spun around. Nothing. Just shadows stretching across the walls, warped, strange. He tried to call for help, but his voice came out as a strangled gasp. His apartment, the same apartment he'd lived in for years, felt alien. Suddenly, the clock on the wall began ticking backward. Each second dragged, twisting the air like thick syrup. Liam's reflection in the window wasn't his own. It was a pale version of him, eyes hollow, lips trembling as if trying to speak some terrible truth. Time is mine now, it whispered. The next thing Liam knew, he was outside. His apartment building was gone. In its place was an endless street stretching into darkness, lined with houses he didn't recognize. The sky was a strange shade of violet, and the moon was impossibly large, like it had grown overnight. And then he saw them. People, or what used to be people, trapped in some frozen tableau. A woman mid-step, her shoe hovering inches above the ground. A child reaching for a balloon, frozen in time. Liam ran past them, heart thundering, but couldn't escape the feeling of being watched. You've entered the vanishing hour, the whisper returned, now louder, echoing from everywhere and nowhere at once. Once the clock strikes 12, your world and mine merge. Liam's fear turned to panic. How could he get back? He remembered the text. Don't look at the clock. If he could just find a clock and avoid its gaze, maybe he could survive. He stumbled into a small cafe, dimly lit, dusty, abandoned. On the wall, an old grandfather clock ticked. Midnight. He forced himself not to look. He kept his eyes closed, counting the seconds in his head. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The world around him began to shiver and warp. Shadows stretched, then recoiled. Whispers multiplied, a chorus of voices murmuring his name. He felt a pull, like gravity was dragging him into the clock itself. And then, silence. When he dared to open his eyes, he was back in his apartment. The phone buzzed beside him. A new message. Well done, for now. The clock on the wall was normal. Midnight had passed. Everything was as it should be. But Liam knew better. He could still feel the vanishing hour lingering at the edge of his mind, waiting, watching. He never looked at a clock at midnight again. But sometimes, when the room goes silent and the shadows stretch just a little too long, he hears the whisper. Time, it is mine! And he knows the vanishing hour isn't finished with him yet.